We are counting down the 10 most shocking cases where stars came out publicly, and Hollywood turned on them almost overnight. From candid confessions that triggered casting blacklistings, to blockbuster careers erased by rumors, sponsorship collapses, and studio sabotage. This ranking traces a hidden pattern of industry backlash through every era. Which career faced the harshest punishment of all? Let us begin with number 10. Rupert Everett's candor. In a 1989 Guardian interview sent shockwaves through an industry that still viewed homosexuality as a career liability. He confirmed the rumors directly, telling the paper that it was not that his career was a disaster, but his openness had definitely tarnished his prospects. In the wake of that headline, Everett watched as casting calls for romantic leads dried up, and he lost out on major parts, including a coveted role in Interview with the Vampire. Throughout the 1990s, tabloids branded him uncastable, fueling a narrative that openly gay actors could not carry mainstream films. Everett himself would later advise young performers to stay closeted if they wanted to succeed. The regret in his later interviews is unmistakable, as he reflects on how a single honest conversation left him typecast and sidelined, despite undeniable talent. April 1997 brought Ellen DeGeneres to the cover of Time, with 3 words that shook television: "Yep, I'm gay." The same day, ABC's phone lines lit up with calls from nervous advertisers, and within hours, major sponsors began to pull their support. That week, internal memos at ABC warned of an irreversible audience loss as conservative groups threatened boycotts. When Ellen's character came out in the puppy episode, ratings soared for a moment, then plummeted by nearly half over the next month. Nielsen figures charted the freefall. By the end of the season, the show's ad revenue had collapsed. 11 months after the Time cover, ABC canceled Ellen. DeGeneres later recalled, "I had studios literally stop talking to me overnight. Her career would not recover for 4 years." A stark lesson in how quickly sponsor power could erase not just an actor, but an entire series from the air. An on-set argument in October 2006 changed the course of T.R. Knight's career almost overnight. During a heated exchange on the Grey's Anatomy set, Isaiah Washington used a homophobic slur as tempers flared. Within hours, Perez Hilton posted a blind item online, and by the next morning the story exploded across gossip blogs and tabloid headlines. The ABC crisis team scrambled to contain the fallout, but the rumors kept spreading. Just 5 days later, Knight confirmed to People magazine, "I hope the fact that I'm gay isn't the most interesting part." That statement made headlines of its own, but the impact behind the scenes was even sharper. Knight's screen time on Grey's Anatomy shrank, and casting directors stopped calling. The internet's speed turned a private insult into a public reckoning, shrinking his momentum on one of TV's biggest hits. July 2006 brought a glossy People magazine cover and a headline that left little to the imagination. Lance Bass, the former NSYNC star, confirmed he was gay. The announcement landed just as Bass was negotiating a string of new projects: reality television deals, music collaborations, and hosting gigs. Within weeks, those opportunities began to vanish. Production partners quietly backed out, citing concerns over marketability. Executives labeled him a risk, and several shows in development were shelved before filming could begin. Bass later recalled, "After I came out, so many doors just closed. Sometimes they said America was not ready for a gay heartthrob." The music industry's gatekeepers, always wary of alienating mainstream fans, seemed to freeze him out. By the end of 2008, the projects that once promised to redefine his career had disappeared, leaving Bass to rebuild from the ground up in a business still wary of open authenticity. Adam Lambert's rise after American Idol was impossible to ignore. His bold style and unapologetic openness made him a global sensation, but it also made him a lightning rod for controversy. Almost immediately, international promoters began to worry. In 2015, nearly 20,000 people in Singapore signed a petition demanding he be dropped from a New Year's Eve concert, citing his sexuality and past performances. The event went ahead, but only after organizers promised to follow strict broadcast codes. In Malaysia, authorities imposed heavy restrictions, no kissing, and no provocative moves, before allowing his show to proceed. These weren't isolated incidents. Across Asia and parts of Eastern Europe, Lambert's bookings often drew public protests, regulatory warnings, or ratings restrictions, all tied to his identity. Lambert himself put it plainly, "Being openly gay hasn't killed my career, but the baggage is heavy and constant." For artists like him, the price is not just lost gigs, it is a steady drain on global opportunity. August 2013 brought a letter that would define Wentworth Miller's public life. Invited to a film festival in St. Petersburg, Russia, just as new anti-LGBTQ laws made headlines, Miller responded with a refusal that went viral. His words were direct. "As a gay man, I must decline." The open letter, published by GLAAD, drew global attention and applause from activists, but it also triggered a quiet backlash in Hollywood. Over the next 2 years, major studios stopped sending Miller blockbuster scripts. Audition records show a sharp drop in mainstream offers, with casting directors labeling him a political risk. In interviews, Miller spoke openly about the personal toll. He revealed struggles with depression and isolation after his career slowed. He later found new purpose in advocacy and writing, but the cost of honesty was unmistakable. A leading man sidelined for standing up and speaking out. Jason Collins made history in April 2013 by becoming the first active NBA player to come out as gay, publishing his story in Sports Illustrated. The announcement drew widespread media attention and was hailed as a breakthrough moment for professional sports. Yet the business side of his career told a different story. Collins had never been a major endorsement magnet, but after his essay, he found himself without new sponsor offers. In a 2014 ESPN interview, he put it bluntly, "Suddenly, I wasn't marketable anymore." While Nike publicly stood by him, no other brand stepped in, and his free agency stretched on for months. Unlike Hollywood, where a star might find alternative creative roles, the economics of pro sports left little room for a comeback. Collins retired quietly a year later, his legacy defined by courage, but also by the financial cost of honesty in a world still catching up. Amanda Bears stepped into the spotlight in 1993, announcing her sexuality while starring as Marcy Darcy on Married with Children at a time when few sitcom actors dared to be open. Bears's decision drew instant attention from gossip columns, which zeroed in on supposed rifts among the cast. Officially, nothing changed overnight, but casting records from the mid-1990s tell a different story. While her co-stars landed primetime deals and high-profile guest spots, Bears found herself boxed in. Offers for new roles slowed to a trickle, and she was quietly passed over for romantic or leading parts. Instead, she pivoted to directing, taking charge behind the camera for dozens of sitcom episodes. Bears has spoken about the subtle ways Hollywood can freeze out those who don't fit the mold, especially women. Her career never fully rebounded in front of the camera, a reminder that exclusion doesn't always make headlines, but it leaves a mark all the same. In March 1957, Confidential magazine splashed Tab Hunter's name across its cover, linking him to a so-called wild night at a gay party. The headline landed like a bomb in Hollywood's golden age, where studios controlled every detail of a star's image. Inside Warner Brothers, executives scrambled. Internal memos revealed payments to hush sources and frantic calls to spin the story. But the damage was done. Within weeks, Warner Brothers canceled Hunter's upcoming films and slashed his contract. Studio correspondence from the era spells it out. Hunter was too risky for leading man roles. In his own memoir, Hunter wrote that being gay erased his future at Warner's overnight. The blacklisting was swift and absolute. Where other stars weathered rumors, Hunter's career was effectively erased by a single tabloid exposé and a studio desperate to protect its bottom line. In 1938, Variety published a list that would haunt Hollywood for years. The paper labeled stars as box office poison. Greta Garbo's name led the pack, her reputation for privacy and her high salary fueling industry whispers. MGM executives, wary of her enigmatic image, quietly circulated doubts about her marketability. One studio head was blunt, saying unmarried, Childless women were suspect and punished. Offers for lead roles dried up after 1938, with casting logs showing a sharp decline in Garbo's opportunities. Trade papers dissected her so-called aloofness, rarely mentioning her private life but always questioning her appeal. The industry's unspoken codes left little room for those who did not fit the mold. Garbo retreated from Hollywood, her career all but ended by a label that punished difference under the guise of business. Her story stands as a stark reminder of how institutional bias could erase even the brightest stars. Across all 10 stories, one pattern stands out. Hollywood's gatekeepers punished authenticity, not just talent. Even today, the industry's power to define reputations remains real. The true legacy is not lost careers. It is a reminder of how visibility still challenges the system. Which story shocked you most? Let's discuss below.